Hi everyone, this is Mrs. J, and I'm doing a read-aloud of Ramayana Divine Loophole by Sanjay Patel. We're on Act 1, Blueprints. We're on page 13. Desperate Demon. Since this is an epic story, let's start with the most scandalous of characters, the bad guy. This is no ordinary bad guy. We're talking about a 10-headed demon with bad teeth. Scary as he looks, this demon didn't start out evil. He was actually a brilliant scholar, though even then he still had 10 heads, who meditated for thousands of years just to ask the gods for a wish. First, he fasted for 500 years, living only on the moisture in the air. Later, he stood on one toe and was exposed to the elements for another 900 years, never shifting a muscle, even during winds and rain. To cap it off, he repeated the Holy Om mantra for 2,000 years without pause. He meditated for so long that he started to lose his mind, literally. The scholar decided to chop off his 10 heads as an offering to the gods, one for every 1,000 years he waited. After sacrificing 9 heads over 9,000 years, the scholar raised his sword to his last head and was set to end his life. Cosmic Bully. As the scholar's sword descended, the creator god Brahma appeared, willing to hear his wish. The scholar was smart, but not terribly imaginative, so he asked for what many men wish for, to be the most powerful creature in the universe. Luckily, this was beyond what even a god could grant, so the scholar asked instead to never be defeated by any god or demon. And what was perhaps one of the biggest cosmic blunders of all time, the Honorable Brahma granted this wish. The scholar transformed instantly into a new kind of ultimate demon, growing a row of fierce new heads and arms in which he wielded terrible weapons. He was large and in charge, a walking one-man army. Hostile Takeover. The scholar turned Demon's appetite for power held no limits, and to prove he was truly the ruler of the gods, he decided to invade the realm of Swargaloka, which is kind of like a heavenly waiting room for the near enlightened souls. Wielding tremendous power, he tore open a portal that reached down to the lowest level of hell, unleashing a race of demons known as Rakshas. United with his demon army, he drove the gods out of their celestial abode and dethroned Indra, the ruler of heaven. The demon king was known from then on as Ravana, which means the one that makes the universe scream. Vishnu's Loophole. At this point, the gods were in deep trouble with demons running amok over every corner of the world. They had no choice but to pay a visit to Vishnu, the god of preservation and general cosmic referee. The blue god of justice calmed everyone down and quickly pointed out that Ravana's plan had a divine loophole. Ravana only asked to never be defeated by a god or demon. He was still vulnerable to humans and animals. Suddenly, there seemed to be hope. Vishnu then gathered the gods together and revealed a secret. He would reincarnate himself on Earth as a human to rid the world of Ravana. His avatar would be known as Rama, the Blue Warrior. Blue Boy. Not much later, as fate would have it, a special prince was born in the capital city of Ayodhya, just as Vishnu predicted. The young prince stood out from his three stepbrothers, Bharata, Shratnuga, and Lakshman, because his skin was blue from head to toe. His mother thought he resembled a god, but nobody, including baby Rama, could have guessed that he was the avatar of Vishnu. The king's own advisor was put in charge of educating and training the young princes. He guided them through their studies of Vedic knowledge, laws, and science. As the princes grew up, they bonded over different interests. Bharata and Shratnuga shared a love of sport and competition, whereas Rama and Lakshman loved nature and animals. As descendants of the warrior clan, all 4 princes were masters of the arts of war. But among the 4 princes, Rama proved himself to be a serene and compassionate leader and quickly became the apple of the king's eye. Deeds of Rama. Rama and Lakshman were inseparable. As they grew toward adulthood, they were both recruited by an old sage, a Brahmarshi named Vishvamitra, who could see into the past and future and predicted a special mission for the duo. The Rishi, a high level of Brahmishi or sage, wasted no time and began training his young recruits in how to harness the Dev Astras, or the weapons of the gods. He also taught them divine mantras and asanas that gave the young warriors profound strength and mental focus. One day during their training, they visited Vishwamitra's ashram only to find that it was plagued by a demon named Tataka. The rishi explained that due to his vow of nonviolence, he could not take up arms against the demon. Instinctively, Rama drew back his bow and the disrespectful demon was soon vanquished. As Vishwamitra performed last rites for the slain demon, he explained that Rama's action that day would have ramifications in the future and cautioned him to always be mindful of his duty. Break a bow, tie the knot. Before returning his two pupils to their kingdom, the rishi had another vision, which led him to travel the princes to a neighboring kingdom where an auspicious test was being conducted. The challenge was to lift the bow of Shiva, a feat that only a god could accomplish. After hundreds of noble warriors tried and failed, Vishvamitra politely asked Rama to try. In a single motion, the blue prince placed his hand on the bow and lifted it high over his head. He quickly strung the bow, but as he pulled it back, it snapped and broke into pieces. Luckily, this accident was considered a miracle and was cause for great celebration, as whoever was able to lift the bow would also win the hand of Princess Sita, who was actually an avatara of goddess Lakshmi. Rama and Sita. Sita's father immediately dispatched his fastest messengers to Rama's kingdom to report the good news and to invite his royal court to a wedding. Upon hearing the announcement, Rama's father and the three queens made their way to the neighboring kingdom accompanied by a grand procession. All of the guests watched as the enchanting princess placed a garland of flowers around Rama's neck, and together they circled a ceremonial fire 7 times. Thus, they were married and both kingdoms rejoiced. Rama's father was so pleased that he announced his retirement and proudly declared Rama and Sita the new king and queen. The royal couple lived happily ever after. Well, not quite. Exile. Kikeyi, one of Rama's stepmothers, decided that her own son Bharata should be the next king and hatched a plot to do away with the Blue Prince. The jealous queen wasn't violent, but she was manipulative and reminded the king of the 2 wishes he had granted her for saving his life in battle. The crafty queen immediately spoke her wishes and demanded that Bharata be made the new king and that Rama be exiled to the jungle for 14 years. Despite his love for his favorite son, the king was a man of his word and honored his promise to the queen. Rama was stripped of his crown at once and commanded by his father to be exiled from the kingdom. Rama calmly accepted his fate and headed out for the jungle. Fortunately, the prince wasn't alone, for both Sita and Lakshman were at his side. Sadly, soon afterward, this chapter of Rama's youth came to a close when his father, consumed by guilt, died of a broken heart. Royal Rescue. Eventually, the 3 reached a forest called Trituka, where luckily there was no sign of demons. But before they could settle in, Lakshman spotted a royal procession led by Bharata, who had returned home from a neighboring kingdom after hearing news of his father's death. He was horrified to find that his mother had banished Rama from the kingdom. Rama was happy to see his stepbrother, who fell at his feet and begged him to return to the throne. But Rama would never break a promise or disobey an order from his father. Bharata was amazed at Rama's integrity and was more certain than ever that Rama was the rightful king. Bharata announced that if Rama would not be the king, then no one would be. He then politely removed Rama's sandals and explained that he would place them upon the throne, where they would wait for the true king to return. Sacred Shoes. Under a cloud of gloom, Bharata returned to his kingdom and kept his word. He placed Rama's sandals upon the empty throne to act as a symbol of Rama's rule. Bharata and Shratnuga then left their court and began their own exile, determined to wait out the 14 years until Rama could return. Swindled out of his kingdom by a jealous queen and stripped of his sandals by her guilt-ridden son, Rama prepared himself for a rough road ahead.